Live from Schellenberger Field, you're watching Women's College Lacrosse on LHSN as the Lynchburg Hornets play host to the Christopher Newport Captains. Excited to bring this matchup between the Captains and the Hornets to you here on LHSN. It's TJ Wingert with you to take you through all the action, show you some of the stats coming into this contest. For CNU, it's losses in 5 of their last 6. For Lynchburg, it's losses in 5 in a row, so both teams are going to get back on track, and a win for CNU puts them back at 500. Record-wise, in Lynchburg, it would give them their second home win of the year. Transitioning now to talk about players to watch, and CNU certainly has a good one with one of their 4 captains, Kelsey Winters, the junior from Harwood, Maryland. How about 43 assists this year, good for 4th in the country, and that's just the total. When it comes to an assist per game status, Winters, 3rd best in all the land. On the other side, let's talk about another player that's a playmaker, Leah Dumas. Not only does she have 9 goals this year, but how about 5 helpers? That leads the way for Lynchburg. And no Dara Gregory, who is 2nd for the Hornets with 4 assists this year, so that much more onus on the plate of what Dumas does for Lynchburg offensively. Talking about the players between the posts, Taylor Schuler getting her first start on the season. Schuler, a junior from Virginia Beach, and has played in 3 games before today's contest. And on the other side, another freshman, Patricia Rogers. Schuler is a junior. Patricia Rogers, freshman from Forest, Virginia, 1st in the conference in save percentage. And to talk about the coaches, 7th-year head coach Lisa Valentine, just the 4th head coach in program history. During her times with the Captains, you see her overall career record as a captain. Coach Valentine has gone 59-48. And on the other end of the field, it's Bruce Reed in his 20th year as a head coach. He has been the man leading this program in every previous matchup between these two squads, and is 5-11 all-time against Lynchburg. We'll talk more about that all-time series history a little later on in the broadcast. Opening draw control, Tori King opposite Eleanor Collins, a sophomore from Washington State. And it's Ella Daniel picking up the first ground ball, and Lynchburg will get us underway on the offensive side. Hornets coming into this contest averaging just under 9 goals per game, looking to get the offense back to where it was to open up the year, including wins against Southern Virginia, as well as Averett. Hornets working around the clock. Behind the net, this is Libby Kennedy. Santora up top to Dumas, our Lynchburg player to watch. Spins right, trying to get away from Kendall Kraus. Pass goes to Reagan Bednar, first start of the year for Bednar. Kennedy works to her right, nowhere to go. Shot clock down to 30. Daniel takes a screen right. Gives way, Santora. Gives off to Bednar. Bednar takes the shot in front of Schooler. Lynchburg will keep possession. Clock down to 10. Kennedy will have to work quick. Pass goes back to Bednar. Before she can get the shot off, taken away, picked up by Emma Jackson. Now into the attacking third, this is Kelsey Winters. Cutting towards the center of the turf. Now the pass over to Alexis Kasuda. Sloan McDonald. Now top of the formation, Kendall Kraus. As CNU works it around. Talk about the recent schedule for both sides. For CNU, over their last 3, it was a 16-6 loss against Washington and Lee as the Captains strike first and lead 1-0. A little more than 2 minutes into today's contest, CNU opens up the scoring. As we get reset at midfield. It is official, Sid Guidi, sophomore from Southborough, Massachusetts, has her 18th goal of the season, first on the afternoon, and Guidi gets us underway in the scoring column. It's a part of a loaded offensive front for Christopher Newport, averaging more than 13 goals a game. Guidi with 18 goals. Zoe Dyer with 22. Kelsey Winters with the 43 assists has 18 goals. Kendall Krause has 25 scores. Lynchburg looking for the response. As the Hornets look to strike against Schooler. Talking about the junior stats this season, 3 games played. And it amounts to just under 30 minutes worth of game time. Goal against average at 4.1. 3 saves in total this year against 5 shots faced. Kennedy finds Santora, takes the shot, and sneaks it up and over the top right shoulder of Schooler. Lynchburg answers back and makes it 1-1. Santora, her 18th on the season, matching the same total that Sid Guidi has after corralling her first on the afternoon. Santora had 40 goals last year and on pace to even surpass that mark this season. That'll be Collins opposite of King at midfield once again. Draw control win for the Hornets. Daniel ahead for Dumas. When it comes to draw controls, Emma Jackson, 44 draw control wins this year. Collins second best at 28, just ahead of Sid Guidi with 22. Then Blake Hopkins, fourth best for CNU. I mentioned it, started to have the conversation earlier, but the recent schedule for the captains include a 16-6 loss against the number 4 team in the country, Washington and Lee. Then the 1 win over the last 6 games played for the captains came against Randolph-Macon, 15-11 win for Christopher Newport, and then most recently it was a 15-11 win, loss at the hands of the Roanoke Maroons. We'll compare that to a game Lynchburg played last week at home hosting the Maroons. Kennedy looking for space, backed out to Daniel. Santora looking for more. Gives to Bednar. Bednar marked up by one of the 4 captains, Riley Rafferty-Lee. Shot, score. Looks like it was Dumas. CNU scored first. Lynchburg, with 2 of their own, have their first lead of the afternoon. And if it was Dumas, this will be 10th goal of the year for the grad student from Maine. Clock stops with just under 11 minutes to go in the first quarter. Bednar gets the assist. Dumas is credited with the goal. First assist of the year for Reagan Bednar. 10th goal for Dumas. Back at midfield, not Tori King. This time it's Elise Henderson. Draw control win for CNU. Ground ball picked up by Guidi. Captain's looking to respond quickly into the attacking third. Eleanor Collins working to her left. Wrap it around and bring it behind the net. Has Winters flanking to her right. That's where the pass goes. Working counterclockwise. Gave you the leaders in draw control wins this year for CNU. For Lynchburg, 17 leads away. That's Tori King for the Hornets. Then it's a tie between Ala Daniel and Madison Knight. 10 draw control wins each. At least Henderson has 8 to finish 4th best for Lynchburg. Nikki Santora 5th with 7. Just some of the names you'll see there at midfield and how the stats stack up this year. Lynchburg as a squad, averaging 9 draw control wins a game. Opponents averaging 13 against. Nice pass, the cutter, and finishing on the play is Kendall Krause, the senior from Ellicott City, Maryland, has her 26th score of the year. Krause evens this up, 2-2. And both offenses wasting no time, putting numbers up on the board. Adding further evidence to this is going to be a fun matchup tonight. 17th all-time meeting between the two squads. CNU with the edge. The series history, 11 wins versus Lynchburg's 5. And Christopher Newport has taken 7 in a row and 10 of the last 11 matchups between the two. Collins versus Henderson. Collins not only wins the draw control but gets the ground ball. CNU with the chance to retake the lead. Winters finds Krause, short hopped in front of Rogers and finding the back of the net. Krause doesn't waste much time and has her second on the afternoon. Assist for Winters, 44 of the season. And the Captains retake the lead at 3-2. Recapping the scoring just in case you missed any to this point in the contest. For CNU, Sid Guidi got us underway with the first goal of the day, 18th of the year for Guidi. That was answered back by a goal from Nikki Santora, then another from Leah Dumas, and then consecutive goals from Krause have us at the 3-2 score where we stand now. Henderson and Collins again. Draw controls up. And won by CNU. Another ground ball gathered by Guidi. We've seen Winters behind the net a lot today. Here at the top of the formation before passing it off to Guidi. Guidi working against Jordan Nielsen. 5th in the ODAC in caused turnovers. Nielsen, depending all on the play, forces an errant shot. It'll stay with CNU. Winters looking for space. Picked up by Micah Slacum. CNU does it again. Captains push the lead to 4-2. Goal scored by Zoe Dyer, senior from Oakland, Virginia. 23rd of the season for Dyer, and another assist for Kelsey Winters. If it wasn't clear beforehand, certainly is now. You'll be hearing me mention Kelsey Winters and her name a lot this evening. Another assist for the junior. Finishing on the play is the senior Dyer. Collins. And opposite her for Lynchburg was Reagan Bradley. Freshman from Ocean Pines, Maryland. First time that we've seen Bradley on the turf today. A moment ago we talked about the recent schedule for CNU. For Lynchburg, it's 5 consecutive losses. Most recently, a 10-8 loss in a midweek non-conference battle against Roanoke last week. And Lynchburg led for first 55 minutes, or led/played with a tie for the first 55 minutes of that game against the Maroons. But a late push put Roanoke up and over Lynchburg. 10-8 final score. And that was followed up with a loss at Meredith this past weekend, 10-4. Hornets fall to the Avenging Angels. Less than 8 to go in the opening quarter. Dyer tracking right. Has McDonald. Now Winters. Back to McDonald. Shot under the stick of Patricia Rogers. Freshman is dealing with a bombardment of a CNU offense, peppering the posts, and the Captains now lead 5-2. Sloan McDonald has her first on the afternoon. 11th of the season for the sophomore from Mendham, New Jersey. And you see 20th-year head coach Bruce Reed. The Hornets 1-2 at home so far this season. Coach Reed looking to turn that around in a big way this afternoon. We talked about early on. Coach Reed has been the coach for Lynchburg for all previous 16 matchups between the two sides. Another draw control win. Another ground ball picked up by Guidi. We're now right around midway through the first quarter, and the name of the game so far has been CNU controlling possession. A couple of early draw control wins and chances in the attacking third for Lynchburg resulted in a couple of scores. Over the last 3 to 5 minutes of game time action, it's been rather one-sided with who's controlling the clock. Guidi, picked up by a second defender, it was Dumas. McDonald for Dyer, pass broken up. And Rogers will go start up the response for Lynchburg. Talked to Rogers this week on the Hive podcast. Encourage everybody to go check that out on the same YouTube channel you're watching this game on. But Rogers talked about a little bit of her goals for the year, how she got into lacrosse and becoming a keeper. Started out when she first started playing lacrosse as an attacker and then made the full switch just because she saw there was an area of improvement potentially there for her team and stepped in between the posts and took a liking to it. And now Rogers, hailing from Forest, Virginia, watches her offense on the other end of the turf. Trying to cut the deficit down from 3 to 2. Shot high right 90. The Hornets do exactly that. Reagan Bednar retrieves her stick. Bednar assisted the second goal of the day for Lynchburg, and now the junior and transfer from Guilford has her second goal of the season, first on the afternoon. The assist given to Leah Dumas. King back at midfield for the Hornets. And still Eleanor Collins for CNU. Awkward hop, Guidi launches it, corralled by Daniels. Whistles blown. Lynchburg with possession again. Nilsson passes forward. Kaylin Satterfield. Now with Mia Sullivan. Lynchburg to the quick restart. Libby Knight. And Knight occupying position in the offensive formation for Lynchburg, normally taken by Dara Gregory. So Kennedy certainly has big shoes to fill today. The offensive side for Lynchburg. It's Gregory, 6 goals this year, 4 assists to go with it. Bednar working right. Screen laid by Dumas. Bednar still looking for help. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Kennedy trying to get the pass away to King. Pass off the mark. Santora gets it back for the Hornets. Shot. Deflected up. Getting it back is Daniel finding Sullivan. Shot wide of the post. A fresh 60 put on the shot clock. And that allows Lynchburg reset, slow down things, and reorganize on the offensive end. Top of the formation, Tori King draws the attention of 2 defenders. Kicks it off to Dumas with the seam. Denied at point-blank range by Taylor Schooler. Huge stop for the junior. Schooler hails from Virginia Beach. This becomes her first start of the season. The other starters this year have been Izzy Sheffrin, freshman from Alexandria, Virginia. 8 games played, 6 starts. And then there's Lizzie Burgoyne, senior from New Jersey. 7 games played and 3 starts. And you go back and look at the recent games, CNU, a lot of their most recent contests have had multiple goalies play, so don't rule out the chances of seeing Sheffrin or Burgoyne later on in this game. McDonald, marked up by Nilsson, sends it back out to Dyer. Dyer tosses off to Kraus. Back to Dyer. Needs the shot up and over the top post. Stays with the captains. See Patricia Rogers. Keep an eye on CNU, currently behind the net. With Kraus. Nice spin right. Guidi creates a little bit of space, takes the shot. But whistle's blown just before Guidi sends it at Rogers. Free position, the first we've seen this afternoon. 2:34 to play in the first quarter. Guidi takes the shot, snagged by Rogers. Stellar save for Rogers. First in the ODAC, 53% save percentage. She noted her goal for the year, and game by game was to have a 50% save percentage. As it stands right now, hitting that mark, and that is no easy task to set for yourself. Furthermore, no easy task for a freshman to obtain. Rogers impressed early on. Assistant coach Eric Holtgren noted once they started fall practices, it was pretty clear that Rogers was ready for the task of being a freshman starter. Santora forced to back it out to Dumas. Back to Santora. Had the first goal of the day for Lynchburg. Dumas had the second. Grad student leaves his shot wide left. Kennedy. Now Bednar in front of Emma Jackson. Couple of spins. Shot off frame. Dumas tussles with Kraus for possession. Scrum continues. Possession is going to stay with Lynchburg. Hornets knocking on the door to cut the deficit in half. They will turn off the shot clock. Have the game clock start, which you see rolling on your screen now. A chance for Lynchburg. Hold for the final possession. Lynchburg passes clockwise. Dumas for King. Now Daniel to Santora. Less than 30 seconds to go. The Hornets can now put the offense into motion. Daniel at the top of the formation. Finds some space. Working to her left. Sneaks it inside the right post. Nifty sequence. Daniel does it by herself and makes it 5-4. 6th score of the year for Daniel. big possession for Lynchburg. Felt like a spot where once you got the chance to hold for pretty much the last possession, it put that much more emphasis and levity on that possession. Lynchburg able to come through and makes it a one-score difference. You see assistant coach Eric Holgren, I noted earlier, talking about Rogers, and you'll see him up the Lynchburg sideline, working with the offense as well. Former Division II men's lacrosse player. Part of a coaching staff under Coach Reed. Fellow assistant coaches include Aaron Gardner and Mason Witten. Draw control. Heads towards the near sideline, picked up by King. In the final seconds of the first quarter, wind off the clock, 15 minutes in. CNU holds the 1-goal lead. We will step aside and come back with the second quarter between the Hornets and the Captains on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia, getting set for the second quarter between the Hornets and the Captains in the 17th all-time meeting between these two squads. TJ Wingert here with you, take you through all the action on LHSN. 1-goal lead for CNU through 15 minutes, thanks to the late score at the very end of the opening quarter, coming courtesy of Ala Daniel. Couple of nice moves, create our own separation. And with about 10 seconds to go in the opening quarter, Daniel made it a 1-goal difference through 15 minutes, 11-8 shot advantage for Lynchburg, which is an interesting stat given. Time of possession, if you look at the entire first quarter, was certainly an advantage CNU. But Lynchburg, when they had drawn out possessions, got to use the full 90. Certainly got their shots off and took advantage and tallied up their total to 11 through the first quarter. Reagan Bradley, opposite of Eleanor Collins at midfield for the opening second quarter draw control. Lynchburg, after a long battle, as Bradley hit the ground ball. 4 defenders in the face of Bradley. Pass tipped partially. And a Snoddy went after it. But CNU, their first crack, didn't work on the offensive end here in the second quarter. Sloan McDonald put out across midfield, scored earlier today, her 11th goal of the year. Goes along with 5 assists. Shot blocked before it could get to Rogers. That was Sid Guidi finding some space, worked through the seam. Yeah, we have a player shaken up for Lynchburg. This looks to be Reagan Bradley. Athletic trainers head out onto the turf. Check on Bradley. Jenna Andrasik also trots out onto the field. There's Coach Reed waiting for word. And with the pause in the action, say thank you to the awesome athletic training staff we do have here at the University of Lynchburg, as well as those who came from Christopher Newport. It's National Athletic Trainer Month here in March. We want to say thank you for everything that athletic training staff here at Lynchburg, but across a number of schools, a number of conferences, and all levels of college athletics and beyond for all you do. They really are unsung heroes in the world of sports. Here the athletic trainers have Bradley back up onto her feet. Just to see a solid crowd amassing on the far side of Dr. Jack M. Tom's track. Bradley with assistance will make it to the sideline. Hopefully we'll see the freshman check back in. Senior take a couple of draw controls for Lynchburg. And a rotation with Elise Henderson and Tori King. And play will get back underway as Bradley now reaches the sideline. We'll continue to monitor what she does on the sideline. Keep you up to date. Guidi against Nilsson. Nowhere to go. Nilsson and company being Kaylin Satterfield and Micah Slacum. Those 3 defenders in the starting lineup do wonders to make the life of Patricia Rogers a little easier. There's a point midway through the first where CNU is having everything wanted and then some on the offensive end. You have the captains open the scoring of the second quarter. And it looks like it was Sid Guidi finding her second of the day. 19th of the year for Guidi. And the captains push their lead back up to 2. So for a Lynchburg team averaging just over 8.5 goals a game, this is an interesting test. Can you keep up with a high-octane, very explosive CNU offense, averaging more than 13 goals a contest? And we've already seen how quickly the captains can strike. It's interesting to see how Dumas, Bednar, Santora, Daniel Sullivan and company on the offensive end, how do you respond to an offense that is playing well so far today and given the players on that side naturally can bring a lot to the table. So Certainly a challenge that is put in front of Lynchburg. The Hornets will have to rise to keep it close. Currently down 2. Chance to cut that deficit in half on this possession. Sullivan to Bednar. Madison Knight. Sends it all the way back out. Peyton Sawville. Sawville with a seam right down Broadway. Shot denied by Schooler. Second save this afternoon for the junior keeper. Pass flung ahead, trying to get it out to Matty Rizgani. Lynchburg generates the turnover. From Sullivan, it goes to Bednar. Looking for space, Snotty, nowhere to go. They'll reset the shot clock. Game clock stops, 12:02. Make it 12 minutes and running in the second quarter. Free position for Lynchburg. First we've seen today. And a Snotty, freshman from Virginia, opposite of Taylor Schooler. Shot, another save, picked up by Sullivan. The Hornets will maintain possession. And this is another reason why when we talk about the shots advantage for Lynchburg through the first quarter, the Hornets did a good job, and a ton of credit goes to Coach Reed and Lynchburg as a squad. It wasn't one shot, end of possession. Lynchburg had opportunities to keep the opportunity alive, put up multiple shots against Schooler. And that's going to be the focus throughout the rest of this contest for CNU. The offense is good. We've seen what they can do on that end of the field. But when you get a stop defensively, can you have that possession come to a close? You don't want run-on sentences, right? You want periods at the very end of your sentence. That's going to be the key today for CNU. Can they hold Lynchburg to a shot, get the stop, get back to work on your offensive side? Or will they concede multiple chances to the Hornets like they have on this possession? Bednar takes the shot and buries it. Case in point, ladies and gentlemen. Lynchburg brings it back to a 1-goal difference. Second of the game for Reagan Bednar, third of the season for the Asheville, North Carolina native. And I noted it earlier, Bednar transfer from Guilford. But this becomes her first year playing in Lynchburg, Virginia. Her first goal of the year came this past weekend at Meredith. And 2 already today. You can see the role that Bednar is slowly but surely carving for herself. Getting more and more involved in the offensive side. Draw control up. It was King versus Collins. Collins, the draw control win for the captains, and picks up the ground ball. Collins even goes as far as to bring it to the attacking third. So we talked about the all-time series history. Last win for Lynchburg, March 24th, 2010. Last win before that, 2006. Looking for space. Kraus had an opening, but whistle's blown right before she can take the shot. Free position on the way for CNU. Controlling is Kraus. 2 goals today already for the senior. Kraus will take the shot. Finds the top post. It ricochets out of play. The captains maintain possession. Pass up and over the head. The intended target looked like Lindsey Connell. But an empty possession nonetheless. Ala Daniel finds Kennedy. Shot wide right. Nice look. Generated by Daniel. Had a seam right down the middle of the turf. Kicked it out to Knight. Kennedy. Had a good look, but give a ton of credit to Taylor Schooler. Made the shot angle a tough one. Try to get off and put it on frame, so Kennedy has to adjust. Leaves it wide right. Santora steps up, patrols right, finds Kennedy. Misses this time up and over the top post. Bednar's pass deflected. Santora gets it back. Shuffle shot in the direction of Schooler. Off frame. Maybe deflected. Dumas cuts back to her left. Her defender falls. Trying to find Kennedy. Libby Kennedy being a big focal point this possession for Lynchburg. Santora gets a screen set by Dumas. Whistle blown. The call goes against the Hornets. Long possession, multiple shots put against Schooler, but nothing to show for it for Lynchburg. We talked about CNU. Can you have possessions come to a definitive close? A step in the right direction, but still conceded multiple opportunities to Lynchburg. The Hornets just unable to take advantage. And those types of empty possessions will be ones that Coach Reed and the Hornets, if they fall short this afternoon, look back at and say, chances were there. We just didn't convert. Krause over to Guidi. Guidi defended by Daniel. Cuts to her left. Whistle on the play. They'll stop the clock. Just under 8 to play in the first half. Another free position on the way. We only saw one in all of the first quarter. Seen a handful now in the second. Guidi will take. Guidi lets it fly against Rogers. Trying to skip it through the wickets of the freshman, but Rogers deflects it away. And Lynchburg looking to tie it up. Trailed by 1 at the start of the second. Conceded a goal to the captains. Had the response. And this is similar territory, but on the other side where Lynchburg was last week against Roanoke, where it was close all the way through, but it was Lynchburg playing with a goal up. It was tied, but Hornets felt like the more dominant team until the very end of that contest. But once Roanoke got over that last hurdle, there was a ton of momentum that came after. You almost look at this situation being similar, just Lynchburg being the team trailing here. Get it to a tie game, and maybe the Hornets get another possession, take a lead. What type of momentum thrust does that give Lynchburg to move forward and carry that lead into halftime? And how much does that elevate the Hornets and boost their confidence and set them on the right track for the second half? All that to say, lots to go here with just under 7 to play in the first half. Feels like Lynchburg has a lot to gain from a potential tie, even working out to their first lead since it was a 2-1 contest. Daniel for Santora. Lynchburg has the equalizer. Second of the day for Santora, 19th of her season. Don't look now, but we're tied up 6-6. And still 6:38 to play in the first half. Interesting to see if Lynchburg is able to retake the lead. What type of boost do we see from the team, not only with their play on the field, but the energy, the morale on the sideline? It's always that extra element you have to keep an eye on as the game progresses. Collins, opposite of Bednar. Check that, make it King at midfield for Lynchburg. Apologies for calling out the wrong number. The sun setting across Schellenberger Field, peering directly into the eyes of many on the near side, so I do apologize. But it's Eleanor Collins versus Tori King. The draw control up. Dumas gives chase. And almost had the ground ball. Tripped up from behind by Emma Jackson. They'll give possession to CNU. Blake Hopkins controls. Now has McDonald. McDonald picked up by Nilsson behind the net. Works right, gets a screen from Kraus. Kraus defended by Madison Knight. Low shot, beats Rogers. CNU will not concede a lead. Instead, jump back in front, and now out in front of the Hornets 7-6.
Goal, Christopher Newport. Goal scored by number 4, Zoe Dyer.
Zoe Dyer with her second on the game. Big response for CNU. You talk about the energy and what it could mean for Lynchburg potentially taking the lead. That was a big boost in confidence for sure for CNU, as you see assistant coach Holgren on the sideline with Lynchburg. But CNU now back in front. And little things like that, even if it's neck and neck the rest of the way here in the first half. In a game this close, everybody's looking for that little bit of difference, that little edge. Right now, CNU has it. One score difference, but also just the time of that response and what it does for your confidence. Hey, late game crunch, we know we can come through in this type of setting. And that score there just validates it. Dish to McDonald. Over to Dyer. Just scored the most recent goal for CNU. Still Madison Knight. Picking up Dyer. Hopkins in front of Satterfield. Rolling left. Was eyeing McDonald instead. Kicks it back out to Kraus. Guidi. Two defenders in the vicinity. Guidi splits them both. Takes the shot. And has another goal in the day. Was waiting to see if the score would count, and appears it will. And it does. Sid Guidi. Stellar move to split the double team. And with her momentum carrying her right down the center of the turf, beats Rogers one-on-one. CNU ahead by 2. You see our captain's player to watch, Kelsey Winters, relaying something to her teammates. Likely something they can do over the next possession. On the sideline, you see 7th-year head coach Lisa Valentine. The once Maryland Terrapin, class of 2006. Has helped coach 17 captains to all-conference honors, 10 to the all-region accolade region, and then 3 have been All-Americans under Valentine's leadership, including Megan Galvin, winning CAC Player of the Year back in 2016. That was the year Coach Valentine was hired.
Yellow card assessed to Lynchburg, number 20.
Yellow card given to Lynchburg.
236 on the release.
Saltville heads to the penalty box. 2-minute penalty. Chance for CNU to ride the momentum and have a chance, take advantage of a player-up opportunity. Furthermore, a 3-goal lead would mark the largest of the day for either side. Play back underway. Winters has Dyer. Dyer stepped in. Brings it back out. Has Winters. Hopkins. Hopkins sent it over to Kasuda, senior from Severna Park, with 10 goals and 4 assists this season. Winters back to Dyer, who will take the shot. And gets the shot past Rogers. Point blank range, looks like it was close. Rogers nearly got the stick up in time. But Dyer has her third of the day. The senior now with 25 on the year. We have a timeout called by Coach Reed for Lynchburg. With the break in the action, we will step aside and come back with the conclusion of the first half. CNU leads Lynchburg 9-6 on LHSN.
Living the dream.
USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field. Captains lead the Hornets 9-6. Just over 4 to play here in the first half. TJ Winger with you. Appreciate everybody tuning in and giving us some of your time on a Wednesday afternoon. Second LHSN broadcast of the afternoon as Lynchburg baseball plays host to the Pfeiffer Falcons. That game still being played over at James C. Fox Field. Give you updates on that once we have some to share. Draw control. Picked up by Winters. And once again, Lynchburg concedes draw control win to the Captains, and CNU back to work on the offensive end. There's been a lot of pressure put on that Lynchburg back line and defense entirely the last 4 to 5 minutes of game time. McDonald in front of Nilsson. Backs it out for Guidi. Guidi hits the brakes. Kicks it over to Winters. Talked about the junior a lot in that first quarter. Relatively quiet in the second. It's Mia Sullivan. Correction. Micah Slakem with the task of slowing down Winters. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. McDonald back out for Guidi. Nowhere to go against Saville. Pass intended for Zoe Dyer. Whistle blown on the play. 2:32 to go in the first half. Free position. Inbound for the Captains. Krause has it in stick. Krause takes the shot. Save for Rogers. Deflected up. Ball still live. And CNU will have the goal stand. Captains push the lead up to 4. And it looks like it was Eleanor Collins is the beneficiary of the goal. Would be the 8th of the year for the sophomore, first of the day. We've seen Collins a lot at midfield. Taking draw controls for the captains.
Goal, Christopher Newport. Goal scored by number 9, Kelsey Winters.
That goal might have actually been scored by Kelsey Winters. We'll do our best to confirm that. That's what the PA announcement said. That's Collins against King at midfield. I could say that with certainty. This has been the primary matchup for draw controls today. Possession awarded to the captains. Hopkins starts a sequence of passes. Now CNU will work it back the other way, counterclockwise. Dyer has Winters. Backward shuffle pass followed by a spin from Guidi. Shot buried home. Sid Guidi does it again. 4th of the day. And 21st of the season for Guidi. Lead reaches 5 for the captains. And the second quarter was back and forth, but once Lynchburg got it to a 6-6 tie, it has been all CNU. What a response for Coach Valentine's squad. 5-0 run has CNU certainly in the driver's seat. We're 98 seconds away from reaching halftime. And this feels like a really important draw control for Lynchburg, trying to get a response off. Because during this 5-0 run, if memory serves, Lynchburg has not had a chance to respond, get into the attacking third, put up shots against Taylor Schooler. It has been CNU dominating possession, and the trend continues. Guidi trying to cut back right. Plays it through the restart. Winters in front of Slacum. CNU currently lead coast-to-coast conference. Goals per game. And we're seeing that offensive firepower put on display here in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's Krause. Picked up by Satterfield. Hopkins gets it back to Krause. Screen set by Collins. Back to Hopkins, who's lived at the top of the formation for a majority of the game. Daniel gets her stick and generates the turnover. Nice pass ahead for Dumas, who couldn't handle the feed. Picked up by Emma Jackson, and Hopkins brings it across midfield. Just 10 seconds to go in the first half. CNU seemingly not in a rush. Slacum ahead for Santora. 2 seconds, and the shot will be sent to Taylor Schooler, and that will bring it close to the first half of action. CNU with a dominant close to the opening 30 minutes. Have a 5-goal lead over Lynchburg. We'll step aside and come back, show you some of the stats from the first 30 minutes of play. Lynchburg out in front, trailing CNU 11-6.
was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one. Without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here, and I've learned that over my 4 years, is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone, helping them achieve their first goal of, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure. So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. Just had the men's soccer team that won the ODAC earlier this year and made it to the NCAA tournament. Recognized and honored during our halftime ceremony. 11-6 your score. CNU out in front of Lynchburg through the first half. Lynchburg and the captains very close at the end of the first quarter, 5-4 through 15 minutes of play. And there was a late goal in that first quarter from Aladeno to make it the 1-goal difference, and it felt like momentum was mounting on the side of Lynchburg, carrying into the second quarter. CNU answers back to make it a 2-goal difference. Then ultimately, Lynchburg gets to a tied 6-6 point, but then a 5-0 run through the conclusion of the first half has CNU at the 5-goal lead, where we bring you now. Don't have any live stats to share with you. I apologize. No live stats currently for this game, but some of the things that I've noticed throughout this contest, and I've mentioned it throughout the broadcast, time of possession has been a huge area of an advantage for the captains in Lynchburg, especially during that 5-0 run at the end of the first half. It has been few and far between for chances in the offensive third. That's got to be the focus for Coach Reed here at halftime, trying to get his team back on track, got to win those draw controls, win in the middle third, try to generate chances in the attacking third, and get back into this contest, because it really was neck and neck through 20, 22, 24 minutes of action, but then the late surge from CNU has us at the 5-goal difference. I think the other area of notice and something to keep your eye on, especially if Lynchburg does start to gather more chances and accumulate more shots against the keeper, Taylor Schooler, what does CNU defensively do at the after a shot's put up and deflected away maybe by the keeper? Can a possession come to a close after one shot is put up against the captain's defense? If not, and it's more what we saw in the first half, when Lynchburg had chances, they were drawn out possessions, multiple shots up in a possession. There's a chance for the Hornets to overcome the 5-goal deficit and take home their first win against CNU since 2010. But if the Captains are one dominating possession and controlling the pace of the game, but then also only conceding, a shot per possession to Lynchburg when the Hornets get to work on the attacking third, then it makes it that much harder for Lynchburg to complete the comeback. We will step aside, and when we come back, we'll have second half action between Lynchburg and Christopher Newport. You're watching the Hornets and the Captains on LHSN.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
We're moments away from getting into the second half between Lynchburg and Christopher Newport. The Captains looking for win number 8 in a row against the Hornets, and it would be win number 11 in the last 12 matchups. Meanwhile, Lynchburg looking to elevate and overcome the halftime deficit. Lynchburg would grow and move to 2-2 at home this season and bring a close to a 5-game losing streak for the Hornets. Players back on the turf. We're getting set for this second half. Coming to you on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. TJ Wingert here with you. As you see Bruce Reed on the sideline, 20th-year head coach, talking over with assistant coach Aaron Gardner. And I think the adjustments, now that we're getting into the second half, got to be focused on these draw controls and having Lynchburg not just have more possessions, but by the end of that first half, they were few and far between. Starts with one draw control win, winning in the middle third, and making this game won by a possession at a time. King, opposite of Collins. Draw control win for Lynchburg. That is a great place to start as we are underway in the second half. Pass intended for King, broken up. Stays with the Hornets. King trying to find Dumas. Down onto the turf between her and Dyer. Lynchburg gets it back. King passes over to Daniel. Now it's with Santora. Lynchburg works it around the top of the formation, clockwise. Series of passes to try to see how CNU will respond. Looks like the captain's settling into a zone. Dumas takes the screen from Daniel. Pushed back, passes to Santora. Sends it right to the waiting net. Taylor Schooler, another save for the junior. Hasn't been tested a whole lot since maybe midway through the second quarter, but Schooler has started to accumulate a lot of success as this game has progressed. Lynchburg 1-2 when playing at home. The captains 1-2 when playing on the road. One will give, one will fall a little further this afternoon. Hopkins finds Kasuda. Top of the formation. Pass goes from Guidi to Dyer. Dyer with a couple steps in. Working to her left against Madison Knight. Trying to get the pass back out. Patricia Rogers steps up, going after the ground ball. Rogers stepped on the end line. Possession goes back to CNU. A little less than 30 seconds on the shot clock. Winters spins back to her right, picked up by Slacum. Shot clock now down to 10. Pass broken up. Winters wanted McDonald. Picked back up, though, by Guidi. And shot clock violation. Possession comes to a close for the captains. Pass intended for Dumas, off the mark. Santora trying to keep it with Lynchburg, but whistle on the play. The captains get it back. Looking to open our scoring in the second half. Nice deke. Riley Rafferty, one of the four captains for CNU, gets it across midfield and then into the attacking third. Rafferty Lee with her 10th start of the season this afternoon. Prior to the contest, picked up 15 ground balls this year. No shots towards net. And because of that, you look at a very top-heavy offensive statistical accumulation for CNU. And players down at the bottom of the box score may go overlooked, but those defenders, despite maybe not racking up goals and assists and shots and those numbers that stand out, make a huge impact, and that's why Rafter Lee, a team captain. Dyer trying to find Kasuda. Couldn't complete the pass. McDonald couldn't keep it in. Rogers, pass fake, gets past Winters, and now sends over to Micah Slacum. Right over to Dumas, and Lynchburg brings it across midfield. Pass and catch, Daniel in stride, shoots and scores, and it's Lynchburg to open up the second half, scoring a much-needed response for the Hornets, and it's now a 4-goal difference. Ala Daniel, her second on the game, 7th on the season. They came after a perfect feed from Leah Dumas. That allowed Ala Daniel to receive the pass in stride. Let her momentum carry her towards net. And Ala Daniel. It's interesting, you saw the goal celebration of the alligator. If you go to sports information part of the lynchburgsports.com website for University of Lynchburg Athletics, go to the pronunciation guide for women's lacrosse. Ala Daniel, the guide, says Ala like alligator. And nice to see Daniel has fully embraced that, and that's become a nickname of sorts for her and the team. And the score takes a bite out of the deficit. Now 11-7. Collins against Elise Henderson. Draw control. Picked up by Guidi. And again, I don't have the exact live stats currently up. No feed being given, but draw controls have certainly been an area that have favored the captains. Empty possession for CNU, and it comes to a quick close. Now the Hornets can build upon the momentum. You get the goal from Daniel, get a quick stop. You're able to lead that into another score. Momentum's on your side. Instead, a turnover. Winters beats Rogers, and instead it's CNU pushing the lead back up to 5. 9:32 to play in the third quarter. Turnovers are costly, and certainly this time round comes back to hurt Lynchburg big time. Second of the game for Winters, 20th of the season for the junior. She's got a couple of assists, couple of goals. Doing it all offensively for CNU.
Goal scored by number 9, Kelsey Winters. Assist to number 4, Zoe Dyer.
The assist comes from Dyer. 9th assist of the season for Zoe Dyer. 12-7, so after Lynchburg cut into the deficit just a little bit. And again, building onto that point, get a stop defensively for the Hornets. Things are looking up, but immediately turning it back over, and especially when that turnover comes in your defensive third, those will come back and haunt you. And so another one of those stats you go back and look at moments when you reassess the tape. That's a play that stands out as a really costly one that forfeited not only a goal to CNU, but a ton of momentum that Lynchburg could have tapped into. Draw control win for the Hornets. Picked up by Satterfield. Pass goes forward for Sawville. Lynchburg looking for a response. Just checking in, Carson Quigley. Backing up the errant pass. Gives way to Santora. Time and place is everything, and Quigley keeps possession alive for the Hornets. Santora breaks left, takes the shot, and sneaks it past Taylor Schooler. And outside of the turnover in the defensive third, it's back-to-back possessions with Lynchburg finding the back of the net. Deficit back down to 4. Third of the game for Santora. Every game played as a Lynchburg Hornet, Santora has at least one goal and now has 20 already this season. Draw control win for CNU. Now the captains a chance to punch back. Hopkins, after getting the feed from Connell, gives to McDonald. Sloan McDonald, one of the captains to find the back of the net today. Lindsey Connell, junior from Maryland. Top of the formation, breaks to her right. On her way there. Found the play. Go against Lynchburg, sets up a free position. First we've seen in the second half. Comes with 7:55 to go in the third. Connell, opposite of Rogers. Elects not to take the pass. Instead, dishes it out to Krause, who then sent it to Blake Hopkins. Takes the shot in front of Rogers. Just a different look we haven't seen from CNU on those free position chances, and it pays dividends. As it results in the 13th goal of the day for CNU, and a timeout called by Coach Reed. We will step aside and come back with the next 7:48 of the third quarter. Lynchburg trails CNU on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps.
After the timeout called by Coach Bruce Reed, Lynchburg looking to cut into the 5-goal deficit just surrendered. A score that I believe was credited to Sloan McDonald. Apologies. Not 100% certain that was McDonald, but I believe after the initial shot was taken by Hopkins, it was saved by Rogers, picked up by McDonald. It would be the second of the day for the sophomore, 12th of the year. At midfield, draw control, won by the captains. Another ground ball for Guidi. Winters patrols to her left. Two players for Lynchburg run into another. Winters elects not to take the shot. Lynchburg's lost 5 in a row. CNU dropped 5 of their last 6. McDonald, good job maintaining possession. Connell wanted Winters. Started to move before she completely received the pass. Slacum looking for help. Sends it all the way across the far end of the turf. Snoddy for Quigley. I noted early on this is one of 2 games currently going on here on the campus, University of Lynchburg. Baseball playing host to Pfeiffer. which I'm getting word has gone final. It was 7-1. Lynchburg out in front of the Falcons. When I last checked, we'll get you that score here in a moment if you are curious. Here at Schellenberger Field, it's the 17th all-time meeting between these two squads. Peyton Sawville, 22 seconds left in the shot clock. Breaks to her right. Absorbs some contact from Emma Jackson. After the foul, waiting for play to resume, and it's now back underway. Sawville forced to backpedal. Swings over to Daniel. Pass to Bednar. Touch too low. And then picked up by CNU. Less than 5.5 to go in the third. It's at midfield, and captains bring it across. It's Maddie Rizgani, a freshman from Elkridge, Maryland. Dyer. It's a nice pass. Kasuda. Senior shot denied by Patricia Rogers. Right down Broadway, Snooty takes the shot, whistles on the play. Whistles result in a free position for Lynchburg. And a Snoddy. Second free position that she's been the center of. Takes the shot. And a little bit of chaos. Unsure if it hit the back of the net or just the post. Lynchburg convinced that it's a goal. Referees will come together. And they will give Lynchburg the score. And Snoddy, a freshman, makes it 13-9. And back and forth, these two teams have traded scores in the back half of the third quarter. .426 to go in the third. That's the type of play where Lynchburg, don't want to say they were doubted, but to not get the score initially to then eventually have it come through certainly gives that much more energy for Hornets to pull from. Lynchburg down by 4. Still work to be done, try to overcome that deficit. King and Collins back at midfield. Ground ball gathered by Alla Daniel. We had that big 5-0 run at the very end of the first half put up by CNU. Just haven't seen something to quite the same degree for Lynchburg. Chance to try to mount that type of forward momentum. Make it back-to-back scores for Lynchburg. Start knocking on the door. Had a potential comeback. Kennedy gives to Bednar. Bednar has a second defender step up. Extra pressure applied by Jolie Stevens, fifth-year player from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dumas breaks right. Had King in front of her. Instead, the pass goes to Daniel. Broken up, Emma Jackson has it for the Captains. Screen set by Winters, and Jackson navigates into the attacking third and will bring it adjacent to the net and wrap it all the way around. McDonald patrolling. In front of her is Dumas. Dyer works against Daniel. Couple of dekes. Works then to her left. Pass broken up. The intended target is Maggie Lockard. More whistles. Goes against Lynchburg. Less than 30 seconds, though, on the shot clock for the Captains. Kasuda steps up, completes the pass to Dyer. Two defenders for Lynchburg step up, Dumas and Knight. Jar it loose. Another foul called against the Hornets. Shot clock at 8. CNU will have to work quick. Kraus, a couple scores today. Navigates through the traffic, takes the shot. Short hops Rogers, had to bounce up over the top post. 100 seconds to play in the third quarter. Rogers gets it out to Satterfield. Satterfield finds Dumas. It's about a 10-second difference between shot and game clock. The shot clock will stay on. Santora wanted Tori King, couldn't handle the pass. Libby Kennedy behind the net. Working against Jackson. Top of the formation. Pass goes to Santora. Clock for Lynchburg down to 20 seconds. Santora takes a shot. Misses wide left. Kennedy battles with Stevens for the loose ball. Then picked up by Schooler. The shot clock turns off. And we have 15 seconds to go in the third. Don't think we'll see the Captains, especially now, incomplete pass, so to speak, intended for Lockard. Final seconds of the third quarter. Wind off the clock. 13-9 your score. Captains still out in front. Lynchburg got a little bit more momentum towards the end of the third. Looking to carry that into the fourth. We'll step aside and come back with the final stanza between the Captains and the Hornets on LHSN.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Living the dream.
USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
We've made it to the fourth quarter. Lynchburg trails CNU 13-9. Both teams looking to get back on track. The upcoming schedule for both sides sees a couple of road contests. Lynchburg will head out to Washington and Lee this upcoming Saturday and stay on the road to take on Roanoke on the 6th of April. For CNU, they hit the road to take on Messiah this Saturday, then return home and play host to St. Mary's of Maryland. But the focus on the final 15 minutes of this contest. Elise Henderson, Eleanor Collins, battle for the the draw control at midfield. Won by CNU. Sun continues to set over Schellenberger Field. Shadows cascade from the far end of the turf to the near side. And if Lynchburg's able to string along a couple of possessions, that sun will certainly be a factor for Taylor Schooler between the posts for CNU. But here's the captains controlling on the offensive side, working through the setting sun. Pass intended for McDonald, taken away by Jenna Andrasic. Satterfield. Gives way to Anna Snowdy. Snowdy we saw score earlier today, and actually I stand corrected. Meredith Bornholt brings it across midfield. Apologies. 24 instead of 34. Spin move. Collins does a great job maintaining possession. Easy to lose control as you spin through the contact and through all the traffic around midfield. Seeing you back to work offensively. Lockard gives back to Guidi. McDonald brings it all the way around. Feeds Dyer. Spins back right, off the post and through. Fourth of the day for Zoe Dyer. CNU strikes first in the fourth. Lead back up to 5 for the captains. Goal number 26 this season for Zoe Dyer. Has been one of, maybe the lead focal point for CNU. Sid Guidi also has 4 goals today. Couple scores for Kendall Krause. Kelsey Winters has a pair of goals, couple of assists to go with it. back to midfield. Still Collins and Henderson for the respective teams. Possession, after the whistle blown, is given to Lynchburg. Give us to Henderson. Sends it over to Satterfield. Saves the pass in motion. Now Sawville. Bornholt. Now Lynchburg in the attacking third. Quigley for Michelle Perkins. First time calling out the sophomore this afternoon. Lynchburg passes it around the clock, counterclockwise. Santora with it. Reagan Bednar with less than 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Defended by Rafferty Lee. Was eyeing the cutter Libby Kennedy instead. Forced to hold. Still looking for help. Pass goes to Perkins. Santora, top of the formation. 8 seconds to work with. Fakes left. Works right. And beats Schooler. Now a 14-10 contest. Santora's score stops the clock with 11:18 to play. Fourth on the afternoon for Nikki Santora. And there it emulates a basketball player trying to beat the shot clock. Lynchburg had to reset and got it to one of their quote-unquote go-to options in Santora. Beats her defender 1-on-1 and then beats the keeper thereafter. Back and forth through the second half. It's been a difference between 5 and 4 CNU out in front of Lynchburg. And it makes you think, if not for that 5-0 run at the very end of the first half, how different does this game look? Tori King for Lynchburg, Eleanor Collins for CNU. Draw control win for the Hornets. King has Dumas. Like I said, it's been alternating between a 5-goal and a 4-goal lead. Lynchburg, chance to get it down to 3. Couple of errant passes, but Lynchburg fortunate to get it back. Picked up by Madison Knight. That type of turnover. This time it's around midfield, but can take you back towards a point earlier in this game where Lynchburg had a costly turnover in the defensive third, and it led to a goal less than a minute later for CNU. Kennedy over to Daniel. King for Dumas. Fakes left, then goes right. Shot denied by Schooler. Then gathered by Rizgani. Rizgani puts her head down, and the freshman brings it across midfield. Then to the attacking third. Picked up by Madison Knight, and Rizgani now dishes over to McDonald. Guidi, defended by Ala Daniel. Second defender steps up. That's Leah Dumas. Pass to Kraus. Shot. Short hops the posts. CNU keeps possession. Winters looking to get it back for the captains. Whistle on the play. Free position for Christopher Newport. Dyer on the near side. Will take the shot. And Best Rogers to make it 15-10. Yet another score for Dyer, number 27 of the season, number 5 of this game.
Goal, Christopher Newport. Three-position goal scored by number 4, Zoe Dyer.
And furthermore, I know I mentioned it a couple times here in the fourth quarter. Every time Lynchburg has been able to cut in that deficit, CNU give a ton of credit to Coach Valentine and the captain squad and the players themselves. They've had an answer. Haven't been able to push out the lead beyond 5, and I think there's some credit to be given there to Lynchburg. But every time the Hornets start to generate some momentum and begin on the comeback trail, CNU is there to close the door, or at least bring it back to where we were before the Lynchburg score. In this case, it's a 5-goal difference. Possession given to Lynchburg. 8:40 to go until the conclusion. Micah Slacum had a goal last week against Roanoke. Able to carry it into the attacking third and finds Reagan Bednar. Santora works back to her left, then right. Tosses to Dumas. Dumas defended by Kraus. Nikki Santora feeds Tori King. King trying to cut through the center of the CNU defense. Nowhere to go. No shot put up by Lynchburg. Ground ball gathered by Rasgani. And after bringing it to the attacking third, Rasgani slows down the pace a lot. At this point in the game, CNU certainly has time on their side. I think they're going to play that advantage, try to use up as much of the shot clock as possible. Guidi forced to retreat back towards the blue line. Winter spins right. Whistle's blown. The call goes against Christopher Newport. Ala Daniel begins the possession for the Hornets. Passes ahead. Trying to find Jade Meyer. Second game played this year for Meyer. Bornholt looking long. Pass intended for Dumas. Dumas couldn't handle the pass initially, but due to the contact from Blake Hopkins, the Hornets are now into the attacking third. Shot deflected. It was Madison Knight trying to get the look off against Schooler. Pass too tall coming from Rasgani. Goes out of play across the far sideline. 5 minutes to be played. Patricia Rogers has Satterfield. Now with Daniel. Daniel connects with Sawville. Dumas can't handle the pass. And CNU gets possession back. It's Hopkins on the near side. Nearing the conclusion of this battle between the Hornets and the Captains. CNU in the driver's seat. Take a lot for Lynchburg to overcome the deficit. So assuming the score holds, we'll mark 8 consecutive wins for CNU against Lynchburg. It'll make it wins in 11 of the last 12, and this will only aid in the Captains' endeavors. CNU leads 16-10 now. Third of the day for Kelsey Winters, 21st of her season. Christopher Newport player to watch, as well as IWLCA preseason second team All-American. Winters has been stellar to watch so far this afternoon. Talking more about the IWLCA. It's interesting, CNU preseason ranked in the top 25 at 24. The Captains ended last season ranked 22nd in the country. A troublesome start to the year, though. 4-5 so far this season. But a chance for CNU potentially turn a road win against Lynchburg into some forward momentum throughout the rest of the regular season. Make a big splash late in the year, potentially get back in that top 25 rankings, and who knows from there, potentially make some noise once we get to the NCAA tournament time. Free position on the way for Lynchburg. Clock stops with 3:16 to play. It's Dumas standing in front of Schooler. Dumas sails the shot over the top post. Hornets will keep possession. King to her right, feeds Bednar. Bednar gives to Perkins before sending it back out to Santor. Couple screens, top of the formation. Nowhere for Santor to go. Grad student forced to dish it over to Perkins. Bednar, couple scores today, up to 3 on the season. Kennedy gets the pass away to Dumas. Some contact as Dumas takes the shot. Play comes to a halt. It'll be a free possession for Lynchburg. Good to see Dumas is okay. Dumas straight away against Schooler. Again takes the shot, and this time finds home. Second of the day for Dumas, number 11 on her season. Our Lynchburg player to watch gets a goal in response from CNU's player to watch, netting her third of the day. Dumas makes it 16-11. We're down to the final 2 minutes and 21 seconds. King and Collins battle for the draw and control. Draw control win for Collins, who also picks up the ground ball. Collins gives back to McDonald. And McDonald in front of Bornholt. Zoe Dyer with Winters in front of her. Dyer elects to keep. Gets more help from Winters. Looking for McDonald. Pass was a touch off the mark, and Bornholt there to corral the ground ball. Shot clock is turned off. This is Dumas. Perkins for Bednar. Bednar takes the rip. Sent away by Schooler. Picked up by Jackson. With lots of real estate in front of Emma Jackson. A sophomore from Mount Airy, Maryland. Moves into the attacking third. And CNU has a chance to, quote-unquote, dribble out the remaining clock. Just over 30 seconds left to go. Opening was made for Alexis Kasuda. Possession of the Hornets. Kennedy for Perkins. Perkins loses control of possession, and the final buzzer sounds. We've reached our final verdict. CNU comes out on top of Lynchburg, 16-11. And we talked about it throughout the broadcast. That 5-0 run at the very end of the first half feels very, very impactful and a huge part of why this game finished the way it did. Outside of that maybe 5-7 minute stretch in the end of the second quarter, it was very close between the two sides the rest of the way through. But CNU elevates to 5-5 on the season and are now 2-2 on the road and are now set to take on Messiah this upcoming Saturday at noon. Lynchburg suffers their 6th consecutive loss, now 3-6 on the season, 1-3 at home, and will hit the road to take on Washington and Lee this Saturday afternoon. That'll do it for us at Schellenberger Field. I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in and giving us some of your time on a Wednesday night. For my director, Nathaniel Pierce, my name's TJ Wingert. For the rest of our fantastic LHSN broadcast crew, we are signing off.